Welcome back to the Coronavirus in Kansas Small Business Survival video series. Tonight's guest is Chen Liang, and he is a realtor in Topeka. Chen, how are you?
I'm wonderful, man. How are you?
Good. So I'm ready to get right into this. How would you describe your business under normal circumstances?
I would say as a top producing real estate agent, typically the seasonality for every year starts end of March or end of February, depends. But typically within that time frame, I would get super busy. I'm talking about like working 12 hours days. So that would be a normal March or April for me as a real estate agent.
And I'm sorry, I might have blew right through your credentials and the real estate company that you work with. If you could maybe set the table with that information.
Oh, absolutely. My name is Chen. I'm a residential real estate agent with Keller Williams, One Legacy Partners here in Topeka. I work both in Topeka and Lawrence Market. So that's who I am.
And Chen, do you do commercial or just strictly residential?
I do 95% of my stuff residential. 5% will be apartment complexes if one of my investors wants me to represent them. So I do have a lot of experience on that as well. So primarily residential.
My business is obviously based here in Lawrence. I've started the focus of this week on the real estate topic, and I'm hearing that the real estate market is still strong. Is that what you're seeing in Topeka as well?
Absolutely. I think first of all, in the state of Kansas, real estate is still considered essential business, and people are still moving, and people are still selling their houses. I haven't really seen a whole lot slowing down for me. I think most of my buyers or sellers are not really taking back the actions. They're just taking their time a little bit to kind of take precautious methods on that. So you're correct. I think the market is still booming as far as I can see.
And what sort of survival mode changes has your business made in light of the pandemic?
I would say more so on the follow-ups and the people I reach out to, because typically on a daily basis, I'll reach out to about 30 to 40 people from a database. And now because with kids being home, right, there's no way around that. So the survival mode for that is that I really have to devote a majority of my daytime to my kids. So I only talk to about 4 or 5 the most important people in my database as far as immediate business. So that's a major change for me.
Is this crisis forcing your business model to change at all, or are you just treating it differently?
Absolutely. I mean, especially for selling side of the business, it has changed almost 95% of the procedures. I successfully listed, I think, 2 properties in the past month. Virtually, I didn't even touch the property myself. Photography, listing presentation, listing paperwork, all of that stuff was done through Zoom and electronically. So big time.
You alluded a little bit to the confidence of your sellers, and I realize there's no simple answer for larger trends here, but are you seeing that sellers are more willing to maybe do a price cut in this sort of climate with a pandemic?
For the most part, I haven't really been doing a lot of price adjustments, so to speak, because my angle was to price the house right the first time. I did have one listing that we did 2 price adjustments. One was during the pandemic. I would think that because the uncertainty, of course, I saw a lot of that motivation from that particular seller I represented. I would say yes, if you have to do price adjustments, I think the sellers are probably more prone to make any changes at this time.
So especially for someone who may be watching this outside of the state of Kansas, we realize that Topeka is the capital city. So you have, I guess from an economic standpoint, you have the security blanket of the state government being there, government jobs, the supporting services of those. And that's under normal circumstances. But I guess my question is, how would you describe the real estate market of Topeka under normal circumstances, and then maybe how that market in general is being affected by the pandemic?
For the most part, I think that's a very good question, Maddie, by the way. For the most part, what I've been seeing for the past 6-7 years or so, Topeka has been a very, very steady market. I even talked to some of the people before me. They were able to go through '08 recession. I was not in the business then, and they basically said that Topeka was not affected much. And a lot of people know that Topeka is the capital, but at the same time, there's some really crazy, strong and big businesses and entities here in town as well. One being Advisors Excel, which is a major advertising agency for financial advisors nationwide. And I have a lot of friends and clients with that business as well. And they're seeing big time booming because people are wanting to know how to deal with their money. So all the employees with that entity are still moving strong with their money and the real estate and some other businesses as well.
Absolutely. I think a common narrative in this video series has kind of been the small business owner who has been, even more defensive about a giant like Amazon taking away market share. When I, as an outsider, thinking about the real estate business, I think about Zillow maybe being the giant that replaces the local realtor. Especially in this climate, what is the difference between a local realtor and Zillow in terms of actually doing that transaction, especially if in this moment it's all happening virtually?
Hey, Maddie, that's a very good question. I really think you're staying on top of the real estate game. For the most part, I think of real estate as a very heavy referral-based business. You can either have a very strong referral base, or you can have a very high budget or expensive budget on advertising, utilizing entities like Zillow, Realtor.com, these places to get you in the customers or clients you want. I think I have been really blessed to have a very strong referral base. So by reaching out to the referral base, I can bypass these advertising agencies to get more customers. And I think if an agent has a stronger base, relying on Zillow or similar entities, they might really have a hard time during this period of time, because I did notice that the number from those website visits have dropped big time.
Very interesting. You're talking about Zillow in general, or your local affiliate landing page of Zillow, or which web traffic is down specifically?
I think it's all across the board, like including my own website. I do advertise a little bit on Zillow, Realtor.com as well. But because of this stuff, we had to rebudget everything. So we did cut back a little bit on all bases just to make sure our essential part of it is taken care of. Everybody has their own important part of the business, right? So I did notice from all bases where I noticed that, I typically would get quite a few calls during the week. I've only had probably one call last week from Zillow and 0 from Realtor.com. So that's just from me firsthand experiencing a pretty big drop from these websites.
I know as a realtor, a big part of your responsibility, your business approach should be to sort of pound the pavement, do networking, put an ear to the ground, find out which properties maybe, which homeowners are maybe thinking about selling, maybe thinking about buying. How are you able to do that process, some of the grassroots prospecting in this new reality?
Wow, Maddie, that's a very good question. What I did to really just kind of really put aside all this stuff and crazy stuff going on, I really came out with my core value from business is excellence, care, family. So I really kind of tapped into these two values I have, just reach out to my sphere of influence and my database and past clients, just make sure their family is fine. Because I'm not wanting to utilize this opportunity to kind of harp on them about my business. Hey, you got to come use me, because that has never been my strategy. I've always been, hey, being a true friend, a true business professional, and when people trust you, they'll come over to you to use your service. So that has been my approach.
If we were to visit your website right now and browse the listings, is there a commonality or a theme that you may give them in addition to the geography? Are they suitable for first-time home buyers, move-up buyers? Are they in a specific neighborhood, or any other trend or theme? A way that you would maybe qualify your spring market homes at this moment?
I would say my page is basically focused on the two most important aspects of the selling part of it, if that's what you're referring to. The marketing piece of it. So we have the most cutting edge marketing among all the competitors. And the second of all, we have the packaging of the marketing, meaning the presentation is going to be next to none. That has been a edge. Regardless, if you're a buyer coming to our website, you can get a lot of information as well, which is pretty unique. It doesn't matter if you're first time buyer, second time buyer. We treat everybody as if they were first time buyer, just to refresh them with the memories they had or the knowledge they might not missed. So.
And Chen, I met you in a business networking environment. I know of your work, and we follow each other on social media, and we're aware of and we encourage each other's work. And I'm curious, which of your efforts on the digital marketing landscape, which of those efforts are really paying off for you now? Is it some of the organic social media you've done? Is it Zillow, having your Zillow profile, for example, up to date? Or what one maybe digital marketing piece do you think is really paying off in some of the legwork you had done pre-pandemic?
I think Zillow, realtor.com, and Facebook, Instagram have been the best returns I've had. Thanks to April, by the way, which is my wife. She's the engine behind all of that stuff. If you guys didn't know that, so I have to give her
shout out to April. Tell her I say hello if she can't hear my voice right now.
Absolutely, we'll play this for her. So we basically analyze all of that stuff as a business owner on a weekly, monthly basis to make sure everything is good. But we did notice that before pandemic, I think it was last year, we analyzed our numbers that our referral base was really strong as well. So it's for any business you want to take in new business at all times, so your machine can keep moving forward. So if I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I'm just curious, if over the last month there's ever been a moment where you said, "Wow, I'm really happy that I've built my Instagram following to this level," or I'm really happy that my realtor.com profile is well put together, or if there were any aha moments where it was like, because you know how it is when you do digital marketing and you're constantly working on that portfolio and that resume, you don't always get the feedback. But now that everyone is basically doing their work virtually, I'm curious if there's been something where you can point to tangibly and say, I'm really happy that I did that.
Absolutely. Over the past a couple of years, even the past 5 years, we've been really building the online presence, from social media platform and all those websites that we have access to for real estate agents. We try to keep a very uniform look throughout across the board. And matter of fact, and quite a few people reach out to me just recently because our website was outstanding, and also the presentation we put out there on a daily basis. And people did have an image of like, we do luxury real estate, which is the image we want people to see. That's paying off because we don't really say that on our websites, just because the little things that we put out there together is giving people that impression, which is really rewarding to me.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. I'll give a plug to your YouTube channel. If you could maybe let folks know what they can see in maybe your next upcoming YouTube video.
Absolutely. I'll send you a link as well. We just mainly post listings and stuff like that on there. I haven't really tapped into YouTube that much. But hey, Matt, thanks for having me on here tonight.
Chen, thank you so much for your time, and good luck getting through this, and good luck to you and your family. Tell April I say hello, and we will see you in a business networking environment, hopefully very soon.
Absolutely. All right, Matt.
Have a good night.
You too.